Members of the Public Health Committee, I am Jill Hammerberg, and here in support of medical aid in dying, SB 1076. All it takes is witnessing one painful death of a loved one to come to grips with the reality of why this legislation is important to so many, changing the hearts and minds of those who may have been philosophically opposed before. My personal story begins with a broken promise to my husband of nearly 40 years. Our hero lived out the progression of prostate cancer for over 17 years, enduring surgeries along with both traditional and experimental treatments. The most remarkable part of this time was that he never let it show. His outrageous sense of humor, work ethic, love of his business, community, and family dominated his daily life. There was no room for fear. But the disease finally became a reality as his doctors shared the last MRIs with us a week before Christmas 2011. No longer could he deny the inevitable cancer cells migration to his bones and liver, which had formed massive tumors. My 3 sons and I received this news together with an odd calmness as our hero seemed at peace. He was given pain medication, a blood transfusion, and sent home with generous hospice care. I reached for his hand and promised with a wry smile that at last he could relax. The accelerating pain he had been experiencing would finally be lessened. For the next 6 weeks, we welcomed family and close friends for conversations, stories, laughs, tears, music, favorite movies, celebrating ordinary time that was anything but. It was a magic time in our lives, suspended and set apart from all else. Here is a 59-year-old man who was reconciled with his diagnosis. He had no regrets in his big life, and he was ready to die in peace. Our good friend and hospice nurse checked in with us, as usual, on what would be his last day. She said the vitals indicated that he would begin breaking down at any time. Get ready for the bleeding to begin. That same night, our hero woke up in excruciating pain. The unearthly sounds are with me every day. He became a drowning victim, fighting for each breath. The powerful medication given to me to administer when such time came provided no comfort for seeming eternity. Holding him close, trying to absorb some of the agony, I whispered, "I'm sorry I broke my promise. I thought it would be enough." If my husband had had the medication on his bedside table, he would no doubt have used it on that last sunny day when we were together with our sons. We would have had the opportunity to say, "I love you," one last time, with a Guinness toast. Instead, we carry the individual as well as the collective trauma of the indignity of his pain etched forever in our hearts. I ask you to support SB 1076, the bill that would authorize medical aid in dying for terminally ill adults. If passed, with its additional safeguards in place, the choice would offer comfort on many levels for all involved. Please support the elimination of unnecessary, prolonged suffering for our loved ones. Going forward, give families the choice to make together. Thank you for this time.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hammerberg, for your, please stay for a second. We have a question.
Of course.
But I just wanted to thank you for your testimony and your courage to share your experience and your pain. Representative Parker has a question or a comment. Oh, Representative Steinberg has a question. Sorry.
Representative Parker was merely my representative. This question. Thank you for testifying today. It's remarkable how in 3 minutes you were able to encapsulate your husband's and your family's experience in those last weeks. From what you describe, it sounds like everybody did their jobs. Everybody was professional. You followed the recommendations of the professionals and
We did.
went the entire course. Yet at the end of the day, or at the end of your husband's life, it was not sufficient for him. I guess my question is, if hospice is sufficient, if palliative care is sufficient, how could someone end up in a circumstance like your husband's?
That is my question as well. We knew on that last day it was probably the end. and I thought the medication would be enough. It's just that it took so long, and it was difficult for us to administer because of the pain my husband was in. And we were in a very strange and difficult zone for such a long time until it took effect. And then we couldn't talk to him anymore.
I know how hard it is for you to testify today before us, but
10 years.
I think it's critically important that we hear stories like this, because none of us can put ourselves in the shoes of the individual or the family that's dealing with these circumstances and assume that we're in a position to dictate to them in that regard. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative.
Thank
Steinberg.
you. We have Representative D'Amico who has a question as well. Representative D'Amico.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, I don't have a question, but if you'll indulge me for half a minute, I just want to say thank you to you, Jill. This is probably the 8th or 9th or 10th time that you've come to testify in front of this committee on this issue. And I very much appreciate all your thoughtful comments, as always. So I just wanted to say, because I feel that I owe this to your late husband. I had the opportunity, the pleasure to serve in local government with your husband. He was the most thoughtful, compassionate, funny, conscientious person that I've ever served with. He was a fantastic guy. He deserved better, Jill, and you and your family deserve better. And hopefully we will get this legislation through so that other families will get better results than unfortunately what you had to endure. Thank you for your indulgence.